It's me, Alex, a stay-at-home reader, and I just saw Karen posted a Tag Tuesday video, the Soggy Expat book Maniac random question tag. I think I got that right. I did watch the original video the other day. Hilarious. What fun energy off of Heather from Soggy Expat Book Nerd and Sean the Book Maniac. They went ahead and combined their channel names to come up with some random question prompts. So I am at Oliver's baseball practice. First question. What was the first question? Soggy French fries. Yay or nay? Cold soggy French fries. Yay. Yay to cold soggy French fries. To any French fries. Any form of potato. Carbs, hello. Yes. Obviously am a fan. But, and please tell me I'm not alone. I know my sister has the same thing happen, and her husband's mind was blown when someone else mentioned it happens to them too, because he did not get the association. Cold French fries, or like leftover French fries, give me hiccups. Anyone else? Like one bite and I'm immediately hiccup immediately. It's a really weird association, but like it happens every time. Like there's got to be science behind it. I don't know. Question 2 is, have you ever lived abroad? Nope, never. This is where me doing this tag is not going to be nearly as exciting as other people doing it, because nope, I have not. And would I? Maybe. As much as I'm like, get me out of this current situation as far as living in the United States, I'm a chicken. And I have a lot of social anxiety and travel anxiety. So honestly, I don't know. And this is going to sound really bad, but if I were to move to another country, it would have to be an English-speaking country. Just because the language barrier is such a stressful like thought to me. Not being able to communicate just would give me so much anxiety. I have problems. So I could see myself living in Canada. Maybe Australia, New Zealand. Like Karen mentioned in her tag video, I would hate to be too far from family. As it is, my husband and I and our children live in Connecticut. His family's all in New Hampshire, at least 3 hours away, 3 to 4 hours to visit his family. My family's all in New Jersey. That's a 2-hour ride. And at times I love that distance, and at times it just feels like too much. And so to move outside of the country, yeah, I don't know. I don't see it happening. The next question is about a trip you've taken or would like to take because a book or author made you want to see it in person. I would love to go to the West Coast, to the Pacific Northwest, and see the redwoods. I've read a couple books that have taken place there. Specifically The Overstory by Richard Powers. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Does that book make you fall in love with trees? I've never been here. Hold on, let me flip this camera. It's cute, huh? It's loud because there's this road, highways up there, train track over there. The train just went by. But it's a nice little area. Scenic. So trips, yeah, I would love to go see the redwoods in the Pacific Northwest. I would like to go to Coney Island in the summertime. The kids and I went in December. It's included in my Vlogmas. I think it was day 6. We took a trip to the New York Aquarium on Coney Island, and I have wanted to visit Coney Island ever since reading, my goodness, a long time ago now, The Museum of Extraordinary Things by Alice Hoffman. But I would also like to travel back in time and see Coney Island. And then my kids and I read a book. Okay, there was a car pulling up to park like right next to where I was walking and talking, and it was just really awkward, so sorry. My kids and I read the Penderwick series. I'm completely blanking on the author's name, but I think it was the 3rd book in that series. The Penderwick family summers in the Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I don't know, they have a beach cottage, nice summery village, and I would love to do that. I would love to do like a nice New England beach vacation, rent a cottage, and just spend the summer there. A book or author from Canada or Wales that you would like to read? I really want to read The Blue Tent. That was Karen's answer, was more from that author. But I want to read that book, and my library doesn't have it. So I'm going to have to order it. I don't know when that's going to happen. But that book sounds amazing. Heather read it for Dewi-thon, and then Karen read it. And from their descriptions, it sounds similar to what Piranesi by Susanna Clark was like, and that was my favorite read of last year. So Blue Tent sounds like an Alex book, man, so got to get my hands on that. Embarrassing parent story time. Basically, if my dad was around, it was embarrassing. I feel like he really thrived on, maybe this is why I'm anxious. This is why I have anxiety. Yep, absolutely. So when I was in 1st grade, we had just moved back to New Jersey from Minnesota. I did kindergarten in Minnesota. And so in 1st grade, I felt like the new kid, because a lot of the kids had done pre-K and kindergarten together already and moved up into, full day school together. So it was already a little awkward. One day my dad was bringing something to school for me. I don't know. And this is pre-Columbine, like parents could go into classrooms and drop stuff off. Now security at schools is a lot stricter. So somehow my dad ends up at the front of my classroom, walking in saying, "Who is this Chris last name that I've heard so much about?" Oh my God. Because he was like the cute boy. Like the generally accepted that, like, if you were in 1st grade at Thomas Jefferson School, you had a crush on Chris. last name. So that was mortifying. It's not a big deal now, but like, that was mortifying. And I've always been very self-conscious. Like, I've always been chunky, always been chubby, always had body image issues, even as a kid. Like, how sad is that? Now I don't give a fuck. But I just felt all eyes on me, and I wanted to melt into a puddle, Alex Mack style. I've never forgotten, and that's just one time my father embarrassed me to death. The prompt is Maniac. What is one or two things you're a maniac about, other than the obvious answer being books and reading, right? So let me show you. Can you see? Baseball. I am obsessed with my kids and their baseball. The next question is, have you ever been hideously lost, literally or figuratively? And hideously lost would probably just be this one time when I was a little kid in kindergarten. I used to take the bus after school. Our house was across the street from the school, so I would just walk across the street, go to my morning kindergarten, and then in the afternoon I would take the bus to my grandmother's house, and then my dad would drop my younger sister off at my grandmother's house, and we'd be there until my mom got out of work. Well, we moved out of our house and into an apartment complex at some point during my kindergarten year. And several of the kids from my class also lived in that complex, so I had it in my mind that now I could ride the bus with my friends. And so I did that. I got on the wrong school bus. Nobody checked. And so when we got into the complex, there were multiple buildings and they all looked the same to me. Every single one of them looked the same, and like I said, we had just moved in there. So I very quickly realized that this was not the right building, but I went in anyway. And so there's like one set of doors and a little foyer, and then like a locking set of doors, so only residents of the building can get in, right? Makes sense. Most apartments are like that. And so I'm standing there like in between the two sets of doors, just with like this look of panic in my face, and some guy that I don't know, right? Because this was a huge complex in my memory anyway. It was multiple buildings, must have been huge. In a bathrobe, checking the mailboxes in the lobby, and he sees me and he's like, do you need help? Are you lost? And I'm just like, mm-hmm. He opens the door, lets me in. He's like, do you know your parents' phone number? I'm like, mm-hmm. So to his apartment I go. Yep. Yeah. My mom still hates this story. So I go into his apartment and I'm like looking around, and I see coloring pages like hung up on the fridge with magnets. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I think his girlfriend or fiance, wife, whatever, was also home. And he just like walks in with me, and I look around and she offers me iced tea. And I'm like, oh, they have children's artwork hanging on the fridge. They're good people. I can drink their iced tea. It won't be poison. And so I made sure my parents knew that I made a very smart decision in drinking the iced tea after assessing their child friendliness. But it all worked out. I'm still here. My dad was able to pick me up, but I guess in the background, my grandmother had called my dad called my mom at work. No one had any idea where I was. I guess they were all panicking, and I was just drinking iced tea with a friendly stranger couple. So that pretty much leads into the next question, which is, have you had like a memorable encounter with a stranger? And I guess that would be it. Like I have said, I am an introvert. I don't like talking to people, and so that kind of limits the interactions you get. Like, do I love that about myself? No. Do I accept that that's the way it is? Yeah. Yes, I do. When the kids were little and adorable and cute and would get a lot of attention, like, I had more stranger interactions of people, you know, complimenting how well behaved they are or how cute they are. And so I used to talk more with strangers. Just like, kids as a buffer does wonders for a social life, and they really force you to be more extroverted than maybe would be natural. But I don't tend to interact with people outside my bubble, so I don't have a lot of stranger stories. And then the last question is, what did you want to be when you grew up? And if you achieved it, how does that feel? I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I think when I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet. Didn't happen. I have a lot of pets, but not a vet. In high school, I wanted to be a crime scene investigator because I watched CSI a lot. And then my senior year of high school, we had to have internships, and my internship was at the county medical examiner's office. So I wanted to be a medical examiner. But then, medical school, like, that sounds like too long. Because I always knew I wanted to have kids young, which is bizarre because I didn't date. I had no relationships, like, never been kissed, nothing, until I met my husband in college. But from middle school and high school, I always knew that I would have kids young, and I did. So maybe I knew I wanted to be a mom, and here I am, stay-at-home mom still. I've had an extended career as a stay-at-home parent because we've decided to homeschool. But yeah, so I ended up going to college I somehow got accepted for forensic science, and that was an administrative error. I did not have the grades in chemistry to be accepted into the forensic science program. But I applied online, and there was something wrong with the coding. So I was actually accepted to like some aeronautics program that wasn't even offered anymore. And then when they realized it was for forensics, they were like, uh-oh, we already sent you your acceptance papers. Okay, you're gonna have to like try really hard in chemistry. And then when I went to the accepted students open house and realized that I don't want to be a forensic scientist, I actually want to study criminal justice with the concentration in investigative services, that aligns more with the crime scene investigation I wanted to do. So I quickly went to the registrar's office, whatever office you go to for these things, and switched my major to that. Very quickly realized that CSI is a lie, that show in Vegas, not fully based on scientific fact, nor is the structure of, the investigators being separate from the police. That's not how it's done in Connecticut or New Jersey or basically anywhere on the East Coast. I would have had to be a police officer and then work into like the special unit for crime scene investigating and pass. That's not for me. So I very early on in my college career realized that I didn't want anything to do with my degree, but getting it was fascinating. I loved every class, so I stuck with it. And then basically as soon as I graduated, Nate and I got engaged, got pregnant, got married, had Oliver, and stay-at-home mom. So, yeah. I lied, and there's actually one more question. Are you a people watcher? And do you have good peripheral hearing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't want to interact with people, but I'm nosy as heck, and I'm really bad about, like, getting caught staring or looking or listening in and then have to, like, look away. I don't really have any anecdotes about it, but yes, I'm a people watcher for sure. I like to analyze people, come up with stories in my head. Accurate, maybe, I don't know, but I've always felt like I can read people well, and yeah, drives my husband crazy because I just assume that he's also listening and like focusing on other people. So I'll like kind of like talk out the side of my mouth at him, like try not to move my mouth too much, and like, and he's like, what, huh? I can't hear you. I'm like, well, you're not supposed to hear me because I'm talking about them right there. What? You always do this. I'm like, never mind. I'll just judge people by myself. It's a hobby of mine, I guess. Just, yeah, eavesdropping. That's the Soggy Expat book Maniac random question tag. I will link the original video. Well, both channels posted the video, so I will link both of those, and I will link Karen's Tag Tuesday video. I think I mentioned it before. She's the one who tagged me to answer the questions, and tag you're it. Okay, thanks for listening, hanging out with me. I gotta crack a window in this car. I'm baking. I'm so red. I sat on the front steps with Nate this afternoon for like 10 minutes and lobstered. So I need to cool down. It's cool in the shade, but in the closed car,